from the highway. I'm going to see Virgin Mary in Chile. Welcome to the GCN show.
Welcome to the GCN show.
Coming up this week, we are talking about whether the goal in cycling is shifting from going faster to going longer, and why.
And you don't just have to take our word for it, because we have the authors of GCN's new book, Mark Beaumont and Laura Penhal, who will be weighing in.
Indeed. Plus, we've got crimes against fashion at La Vuelta, and also the most ripped legs in cycling. This week in the world of cycling, we learned that after the Agnelli e-cargo bikes that are kind of pretending to be cars that we told you about last week, you can actually now also buy an electric Harley Davidson with pedals.
Well, it is a Harley, but not as we know it. For a start, they've created a new company called the Serial One Cycle Company, named after their first ever motorbike. So it is a Harley, but really, I mean, it's an e-bike.
Well, yeah, it is an e-bike, isn't it? Now, we also learned that two major bike brands have just pledged to start selling less rubbish. And by that, we mean continuing to sell their great bikes, but now packaged in recyclable packaging. So Cannondale's parent company, CSG, have made the switch whilst they're shipping their bikes around Europe.
Also, Cycling Tips posted a story about Trek, who are trying to change as well. And they have started with one mountain bike model, and they say they have saved 23,000 kilograms of waste in less than a year. I mean, which is great, but it's also depressing when you think of all that waste.
Yeah, that's one model. 23,000 kilos, crikey. Fair play to Trek though, they are one of the few companies that recycle carbon fibre, I noticed actually when I was doing a bit of research yesterday. Anyway, now this week, after the launch of the new GCN book Endurance, which has been authored by Mark Beaumont and Laura Penhal, we are thinking about whether or not the sort of focus of road cycling is shifting slightly from being race and speed oriented towards actually going longer, ultra endurance.
More KMs, less KOMs, perhaps?
You mean more kilometres?
See what I did there?
See what you did, mate, that's good, that's really good.
Anyway, let's be clear, the world of ultra-endurance cycling is not new, but the appetite to consume it, and from media like ourselves, but also people going out and taking part in it, it's definitely increased, and the appetite to kind of see what it's all about is there. And
also, going further is more attainable, isn't it? I think genuinely anyone could train up and do a 300 kilometre long bike ride. It might take an inordinate amount of time, it might really, really hurt, but they definitely can do it.
Yeah, however, you can train and sacrifice your whole life to going faster, but you'll never manage to go up Col de Mon faster than 40 minutes.
No, that's a very good point actually. I'm all too familiar with my ceiling in cycling. And whilst that doesn't stop me loving trying to go faster and just racing for the sake of being competitive, I'm not going to lie, there is a real allure to doing something new and ticking off new goals and actually improving something. For me, that does kind of mean ultra endurance.
Yeah, I think riding long, it's more of a mental game. I mean, you still have to train, but, you more have to kind of think yourself around the course. I think if you look at someone like Primož Roglič, I mean, in terms of performance, he's here, but I'm, somewhere, down, yeah. Don't look down there. But, he wouldn't get around the Donegal 450, would he?
You mean Donegal 555?
Yeah, I mean the last 105k, so overrated.
Well, yeah, no, I heard that. But it's a very good point, actually. And even taking you as an example, like you're an ex-pro, you've ridden the Giro, you've ridden La Vuelta, but yet, I don't want to rub salt into the wounds, you came unstuck on the Donegal 555, but yet riders who are not as fast as you, not as strong as you, and don't have a Grand Tour in their legs, still made it around. So, why was that, Connor? Why did you fail?
Okay, seeing as you ask, well, I think it's because I got a bit soft, to be honest. I think when you're racing as a professional, you're used to kind of dialing in your training, you're used to getting lots of sleep, you're used to being a bit of a hypochondriac, you don't really react to things that kind of get thrown. When your schedule gets thrown, you don't react well to it. And to be a good ultra-endurance racer, you just need to be able to brave the elements, you need to be able to go way out of your comfort zone, not get any sleep for the whole night and then keep on riding. It's just not something you're quite used to, I think, when you're racing professionally.
Just interesting to see that the sport may be starting to shift a little bit. Anyway, you don't just have to take two ex-pro roadies' words for it. We need to hear from the world of ultra endurance. And who better than the two authors of the new GCN book, Endurance, Mark Beaumont, round the world record holder, and Laura Penhal, who was not only the brains behind that operation, also has some serious ultra endurance credentials herself. She has rowed across the Pacific Ocean, which I just find utterly incredible.
Right, Mark and Laura, hello. Mark, what's your own take on this, like further versus faster? You, am I right thinking, have always been drawn to the longer endurance challenges. Why do you think that is?
I mean, for myself, I never had that sort of pro club background. I was the homeschool boy who just liked going on adventures. So my background was very much from where can the bike take me? And then as the years have gone on, it's become more about performance and how to become more efficient. And I think that my own career has happily coincided, certainly in the UK, but around the world, with this explosion in interest in the ability to engage and like just ride further. And I think at the heart of that is the fact that it's the great leveler. You know, we can't all be sprint athletes, we can't all be power athletes, although we can try. But we can all endure. We can all go further. I mean, you know, Si, it's hard, but young, old, male, female, we can all ride our bikes a long way if we've got the right toolkit.
Yeah, very true, actually, very true. Now, Laura, a lot of your work has been in elite sport, so with Olympic and Paralympic athletes. What draws you away from that world from time to time to the world of endurance, both taking part yourself, rowing across the Pacific Ocean, but also in your role as performance manager?
Yeah, I mean, I think similarly to Mark, maybe it's a bit of nature that personally I have always, as a kid, I was always cross country. I was kind of the one that would stay behind school and go for the long runs, cross country runs, and I would sprint. Definitely on sports day, I was the 1500 metre, not the 100 metres. And that's kind of just constantly grown personally to get bigger and bigger. So sprint triathlons to Olympics, the half Ironman to, the 10Ks to the marathon to a little bit longer, and then Pacific Row, that gets thrown in there along that journey. But then on the sort of work front, I'm really fortunate in the elite world. We all deep dive and we go to the minutiae of like, how can we be the best physio? How can we be the best physiologist? How do we get the best out of this individual for this sport? And we properly are asking ourselves why all the time. And I love that, and I'm surrounded by those expertise, and I am passionate about taking that into the endurance space, because I think it isn't necessarily exposed what a physiologist does, what a psychologist does, and all of those factors come alive in ultra endurance because it's such a multifactorial event, it's such a multifactorial sort of journey that we all need to endure, whether that's on the bike and whether it's off the bike. Life throws some curveballs, and endurance is the underpinning mindset that we need to draw on.
Yeah. Now, I can't think of two more qualified people to write a book on the subject of endurance. So, Mark, very quickly, what can viewers expect to find in the book?
Well, I guess what people will expect to find is just the A to Z of training, because we're all cyclists and we love the idea of getting on our bikes and being fit. But actually, that comes later in the book, because a lot about sort of explaining how you build your endurance mindset and skill set is to all the stuff that happens before, the prior prep, the logistics, the psychology that Laura touched on. And there's, as you well know, Si, over the big miles, the big hours, the big distances, it's about efficiency rules. It's not always about, your slipstreaming or your tactics or how good your sprint is, but it's all the little things, the faff, how to choose the right kit and not just be good today, but tomorrow, the next day, next week, and make this something that you can do. For me, it's about how do you create those life-affirming, career-defining rides, the stuff that you look back on and go, that was tough, but my goodness, that's part of my identity and I loved it.
Yeah. Can I ask one final question, guys? So we talked a little bit about the endurance mindset. You come back to it a few times. I'm all too familiar with my limitations physically when it comes to going fast. So my functional threshold power, my sprint power, I know fundamentally what they are. But to your minds, are there no limits to endurance? Is it more of a mental game than a physical game? And does that actually make it more accessible?
I think at the heart of your question, psychology becomes more and more important with endurance. That's why it's the great leveler. It's why, as people get older, they can still do endurance. It's why, we see loads of women smashing these ultra endurance records and you know, really leveling the playing field, because the power of the mind is far more important than, you know, the size of your quads. And, you know, what might win on a velodrome, you know, on an individual time, you know, pursuit or something is totally different if you're trying to go for your first century ride, or you're doing a coast to coast, or you're trying to do the North Coast 500 in 3 days like you and I did. You know, that's an amazing journey that we took on, where, yeah, you're soaking up extraordinary landscapes and just totally lost in the journey around you, but physically and mentally, you know, you'll reflect, it's a roller coaster, it's tough, it's hard. And actually, in writing this book, I was aware of how, yeah, I've got 25 years experience doing this stuff since I was a 12-year-old kid, but there's a ton I don't know as well, and that Laura doesn't know. So we've basically gone through our black book of friends and pulled in what I call wise words, you know, the best in class for whether it's gut health or sleep specialists or you name it. And we've geeked out in conversations with them to find out, not just from the athletes who have pushed the dial, but also from the people behind the athletes who are really sort of at the cutting edge of what endurance is. And we've woven all that into the text as well. So it's the people I've benefited from when it comes to smashing the world record to pedal around the planet, but it's also hopefully in a way which is super accessible, you know, whether you're going out for your first 50-mile ride or pedaling around.
Yeah. Mark, Laura, thanks so much for talking to us. I cannot wait to sit down and have a proper look and read of the book. If nothing else, so that I take slightly less of a kicking next time we tackle some form of stupid adventure together, Mark. But yeah, thanks again, guys.
Now, as if it needed mentioning, you can, of course, order the GCN book, Endurance, in the GCN shop. Now, we would love to hear your thoughts on this topic, though. Are you beginning to do longer bike rides, ultra endurance bike rides? Have you always done it? Are you a dyed-in-the-wool cycle tourer? Also, are you the kind of person that's just full-on road speed oriented? Let us know in the comment section. I'll be super, super interested to hear your thoughts.
Anyway, let's hear from two speed merchants up next.
Sorry, one speed merchant and Ollie Bridgewood, you mean?
Oh, yeah.
So it is day 3 of the transition down plan, and today is the half Monty fitness test, and I'm automatically nervous because it says test in the title, but don't need to be nervous, just need to smash the watts out and I'll be absolutely fine, I'm sure. I'll show you my setup. Got my bike on the trainer, got my laptop, got my fan, hydration, mirror to make sure my position's nice and still and good. So yeah, just about to start it, so I'll let you know how I get on.
Right, I've just done the half Monty fitness test, which is the start of the transition plan for me, and it's kind of like an FTP test, but it's a smart one, and it's easier than a normal FTP test. It's kind of something that you can do that doesn't put too much stress on your body, and it estimates your threshold power, your max aerobic power, and your lactate heart rate, and yeah, you do it so that it sets the zones in the Wahoo SUF training app for you. And yeah, my results, in case you're interested, which I know some of you are, is an FTP. It's giving me 337 watts. And then my max aerobic power, that's my 5-minute power, is 408 watts. And a lactate heart rate of 179 beats per minute. So, right, onwards and upwards from here. Although, thankfully, this transition plan isn't too heavy. Right, see you next week.
So I've just finished my first half Monty ramp test, and it wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be. But it wasn't a walk in the park. It was still pretty tough, but it was really good. It was really interactive. There was loads of numbers on the screen telling you what numbers to hold and what to stick to, and like little messages to give you a little bit of motivation, which was quite nice. So yeah, looking forward to the rest of the week and the rest of the plan. Hopefully, if you're following along at home, hopefully you guys are enjoying it too.
It's time now for some GCN inspiration, that part of the show where we go through and cherry pick the very best inspirational cycling photos that you've been uploading to the GCN app over the last week. Of course, they all win a prize, starting with third place, Connor.
Right, third place, and the winner of the GCN striped socks is Julie A. Fiedler. And this is a gravel grinding and loving it, riding into autumn and some great gravel in our local state forest in Wisconsin. That's amazing.
Nice. That's beautiful, isn't it? What a shot. Second place this week and winning a striped sweatshirt, again with a Spanish theme. We have this absolute pearler sent in from Robert. He got in quick, didn't he, with the usernames on the app? Just Robert. Yeah. Nice. Early adopter. Anyway, Stelvio stage recon 1 day before the Giro stage. Did a 100k plus ride, taken on the Stelvio twice from different sides 1 day before the Giro. But we have a winner, don't we, Connor? Who's the winner this week?
We do. First prize in the complete stripes bundle, and we have Audiophile 021. And this is a spectacular one, actually. Look at this site.
Wow.
Dreaming of switchbacks and sunrises. Wow. And this is summer in Cape Town. Finally getting better, and some early morning hill repeats as the sun rises. Well, congratulations for getting up that early. I haven't been up that early in a while, actually. But wow, spectacular photo.
That is an absolute pearler of a shot, isn't it? It does feel like quite a long way away right now, both Cape Town, geographically, and also sunshine and hill repeats in the summer. But still, never mind. That is inspirational stuff. Love it, absolutely love it. Keep them coming in. As you said, upload them to the GCN app, and then we simply go through and we cherry pick the very best ones each and every week.
It's now time for cycling shorts.
Right, can we kick things off here, Si, with a serious fashion violation?
Oh,
Check
yes,
this
come
out.
on. Whoa!
Yeah, I did tell you.
Yeah, Primož Roglič there, rocking quite the outfit at La Vuelta. Interestingly, slightly ironically perhaps, this was brought to our attention from a tweet from Jonathan Vaughters. Now, I say ironically, Jonathan Vaughters is now the boss of a very cool cycling team, EF Pro Cycling, but for years he presided over an absolute dog's dinner of a cycling kit when it was Slipstream. Do you remember the light blue and pale orange Argyle?
I kind of liked it, to be honest.
You didn't?
I did. I thought it was quite cool.
That goes down in history as one of the all-time worst kits. But anyway, Vaughters was clearly disgusted at this violation. Well, what do you think, hot or not?
Well, I think, I'm going to have to agree with Vaughters here, actually, because, look at the state of it. Right? Yellow arm warmers with green mitts. You're taught in primary school when you're really young that green does not go with yellow, and he's done it. So, not to mention, there's turquoise in there as well.
Yeah, no, that's true. The Bianchi Celeste and the blue of the Jumbo kit and it's, I don't know, it's quite colourful, isn't it? Sometimes, clashing on purpose is cool.
You'd have seen him coming from the top of the Angry. You'd have seen him not just at the bottom of the Angry, you'd have seen him in the next province of Spain.
Oh, poor old Roglič. Right, anyway, moving on. Cycling Industry News posted a really, really interesting article this week about just how much the bike industry is worth. Now, the standout fact for me from there, Connor, was that Peloton is now worth $10 billion more than Ford Motor Company. So Peloton's worth 40, Ford is only worth 30 billion. Can you believe that? 40 billion.
That's incredible.
It is, isn't it?
It's like cycling kind of overtaking the automobile industry. And on that note, there's now a new scheme in Lithuania where you can trade in your old banger of a car and be given an e-bike instead. That's
pretty cool, isn't it? Would you trade in an old banger of a car for an e-bike?
I think I would if it was old enough. And I have a young family, so I'd have to have an e-bike where I could transport a newborn on. So I think I need some sort of kind of umbrella or roof to get it past the boss.
So you see, I'd be all in, except for the fact that fundamental problem with e-cargo bikes here in the UK is that we haven't got that many places to put them. So what we need is e-cargo bikes with roofs for Connor and his family, but also that we can leave on the street like you would do an ordinary car, because where are you going to put it? Right, back to La Vuelta and another photo. Can you check this one out from Jose Joaquin Rojas? Look at those legs.
Oh, he's on form there, isn't he, Si? But I tell you what, top tip if you want to get a similar photo, glass of red wine, lie down for an hour, and then stand up.
Really?
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Your legs look like that?
Yeah, my legs did, but my upper body didn't. That was always a good trick I had as well with my team managers, because I was kind of genetically, I'd have skinny legs, but I'd carry all my fat on my upper back. So I was like kind of hiding it.
See, we are completely opposite. See, I would be completely like chiseled down to, basically just above my knees. And then all of your back fat was stored on my ankles. So, yeah. But actually, it's worth saying that a lot of people get very obsessed with trying to get really, really ripped legs. But there's almost nothing you can do about it. So concentrate instead on your form, going faster or going further, and just forget about your legs and just enjoy what they can make you do, basically.
In other news, and a bit of a blast from the past actually, going back to that crash in Tour of Flanders when Alaphilippe went into the back of a race motorcycle and sadly broke 2 metacarpal bones. Well, since then, there's been a lot of speculation about who was at fault. I myself, when I watched the footage, was thinking it was kind of just one of those racing incidents. And Alaphilippe himself has actually backed this up. In a quote to media, he said, I don't blame Tour de l'Equipe actually, he said, I don't blame anyone, not even the motorcyclist. No, really, there is nothing to blame on that man. He shouldn't worry. I hope to reassure him with this interview. I don't blame him. And anyway, I'm not a vindictive man. It's just something that can happen in a race.
Fair play to him. He's a nice lad, isn't he, Alaphilippe, I think. And yeah, good for the sport generally. Right, before we leave cycling shorts, I just wanted to draw your attention to a little survey that we're running. We always love to hear your thoughts, be it in the comments, be it in polls on the app, wherever. But every now and then we have a slightly more in-depth survey. And so if you've got a little bit of time to spare, a few minutes, then please do get involved and tell us your thoughts about things. The link to it is in the description beneath this video. It's time now for hack/bodge of the week. Connor, before we start, the ultimate little bit of advice came in last week from the comments, and I'm really sorry, but I've forgotten exactly who sent it in, but they said, never ever worry about whether you're doing the hack/bodge the right way, because if you do it with your right arm, you're guaranteed to get it the right way, because you can't do it the other way. So you just do it like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my word, I've been worried about this for years, literally years, every week. I get anxiety about it.
Yeah, I don't know why I never thought of that.
Anyway, there we go, brilliant. So thank you very much for that, whoever you are. And yeah, I'll be indebted to you forevermore. Right, let's crack on though, shall we, with hack/bodge.
Yeah, the first one we have this week, I think this is absolutely ingenious because I have one of these myself, one of these beach trailers, and I thought about doing something similar. So this year, Nathan Patterson, 2054, basically what he's done, he's attached the beach wagon to the back of his bike. Not one beach wagon though, 2 beach wagons. For me anyway, this is a definite hack. I'll tell you what, my beach wagon as well, so it can actually have the capacity to take 100 kilograms.
I mean, that's clearly a bodge, isn't it? Just tying it on with rope.
It's a hack from me.
All right, well, 83% of you lot agree with me. So sorry about that, Connor. Right, next up, we've got this one sent in by Valve Cap Police. Sticky note tube patch. I ran out of patches, so I used a sticky note and some super glue, and it holds up to 110 PSI. Wouldn't trust it out on the road, says, but fine on the indoor trainer.
Wow, I'd definitely say this is a hack.
Yeah, I guess it is a hack, really, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, all the times I've been stuck at the side of the road when I was a kid getting into cycling with a puncture and trying to, stick on the actual patches and never managed it.
Would you rather have a post-it note?
Well, he's done it with a post-it note and I'd never even did it with the actual thing, so it's a definite hack, I think.
Right, well, okay, fair enough. 55% of you lot think it's a bodge, so fairly on the fence with that one, I guess. Right, who's up next?
Next up, we have Pipe Tri with a hydro dip stem and a rather nice looking hydro dip stem as well.
That does look very cool, doesn't it? John Cannings, you may remember, tried hydro dipping. Didn't look quite as neat as that, unfortunately. And look at that on the bike.
I know, it goes well on the bike. Black, all black with just a bit of kind of gold detailing on the stem.
Whoa, and gold bottle cages. Yeah. Blah bling, blah bling.
Are you watching Primoz Roglic?
Yeah, that's how you do colour coordination, isn't it? Right, that's was hack from me. Hack from you? Oh.
Yeah, I'd go hack.
Yeah, and 88% of you lot thought that was a hack as well. There we go. Right, next up, we've got a homemade wheel truing stand. That looks like a marker pen zip-tied to a frame there. So,
great idea, actually.
Yeah,
I never
not
thought
bad.
About that.
Although you want to make sure that it's not a permanent marker, or at least you're using rim brakes, so you can wear it off again.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'd go hack.
Can we just draw your attention to the? What is that?
I was going to say that actually, Si. That is a Sphinx cat, and guess how much they're worth? 1,500 to 10 grand. So, yeah.
The 10 grand ones have fur, do they? You pay a bit extra for that?
Yeah, no fur. They're all furless. You know, apparently you have to be quite an experienced breeder to breed the cats. But
I bet you do. Doesn't look like it's particularly hardy. It looks a bit like a professional cyclist trying to do the Donegal 555, doesn't it? Basically?
It does.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Before, anyway, I'm assuming people haven't judged the cat there, because 60% of people have said it's a hack. So I guess that's the wheelchairing stand, isn't it? But,
yeah.
There we go. Right. Next up.
Next up, we have Eugene Angel 2 and a rather nice looking DIY bike rack, if I'm honest.
That is very cool, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, 4 bikes, I think, on one rack. Which
is,
pretty impressive for a standalone rack. I think that's a hack from me.
I think that's a hack from me as well. Whoa, 91% of you said that's a hack as well.
That's a solid result.
Very solid, yeah. Right, and then that means coming in towards the end of Hack a Bodge, we've got this one from Famer84. Quarantine bike clean. I had to ride 40 miles with a large backpack to go stay with my grandmother who was scared and lonely. Oh, that's pretty cool. Anyway, decided to clean my bike, but unfortunately, grandmothers do not keep bike stands or tools. So, so you've nicked her clothes hangers and her commandeered her washing line. So I like that. I think that would be good for drying. I can't imagine it would be a very firm sort of purchase for actually washing stuff.
Yeah, it's a good idea, but you know, when brother-in-law Nigel cleans my bike, he uses quite a strong pressure washer, and I think if he used it on that setup, it might blow the bike into the neighbour's garden.
Nice. Well, 67% of you lot thought that was a hack, even if Connor and I were kind of veering more towards the bodge end of things. But that brings us to an end of hack/bodge. I can do it now, like, just at will.
Yeah, just
without
right
even thinking
arms.
about it. Boom. Yes. Anyway, if you would like to send in a hack or a bodge, of course, just upload it to the GCN app. There are so many on there for you to check out as well. And just as with GCN Inspiration, we cherry pick our favourites each and every week for the GCN show. It's Caption Competition time, that part of the show where you get a chance to get your hands on a coveted GCN Elite water bottle. All you got to do is write a very witty caption to a photo that we're about to give you. As always, though, we're going to start with the results from last week. Connor?
Well, last week's caption, and the winner is Tim Williams with Teo so fast, even the trophy's getting dropped. I think it's marvellous caption.
That is really good, actually, isn't it? I like it. Very good. Right, get in touch, Tim, and we will get a GCN water bottle over to you. Right, no pressure, Connor, but what's this week?
Well, moving on to this week, we have the leaders' jerseys at the start of Stage 8 in the Vuelta a España. And, well, they're looking rather colourful, aren't they, Si?
Yep.
I think my attempt at a caption for this would be Fashion Police, Unite. Yeah.
I like it, Connor. I like it. Delivered very well.
What about you?
We only get to do one. I do my best to avoid giving captions. That was great. Well done, Connor. If you think you can do better, or even if you think you can do as well, get involved in the comment section down below, and we'll pick a winner next week.
Okay, before we go into what's on the channel this week, let's take a look at some of the best comments from last week's videos. And starting off with John, who simply says, when you see an Iron Man tattoo, you run and you don't look back, which is, well, pretty true, isn't it?
True that, on your Halloween video. That was probably the climax of the scariness, wasn't it, that bit?
I know, yeah, I was pretty scared in the moment, actually. I'm glad I found it back to the GCN set as well. Another comment from Paul at Ariesbos on that Halloween video. What a great but scary video. If it were Ollie running away from the triathlete, it would be a slapstick comedy.
Genius, I love it. Right, we had some brilliant comments under the King Alfred's Way bikepacking vid as well. A lot of love for our video creator, which was brilliant. So thank you very much for letting us know how much you like the edit. Also, one comment that really stood out on there, which was really moving, from Bike Tribe. Guys, you have got no idea how much I needed this video. I'm lying here in a hospital bed, having just been sliced from my belly button to my nether regions to remove an aggressive tumour from my spine. So, unbelievable stuff. It says, hopefully I'll be back riding hard again by summer. Videos like this will fill the void in the meantime. Please keep them coming. So, yeah, we will, of course, keep them coming. Hopefully it will keep you going. And I think from all of us here at GCN, we wish you all the best in your recovery. Fingers crossed, and get back in the saddle very soon. Right, what's coming up on the channel then, Connor?
Yep, so on Wednesday, we have how to ride at night. On Thursday, we have 5 tips to improve your bike handling. And on Friday, we have road versus cross, which is better.
That'll be a good one. Right, on Saturday, we've got a Castelli factory tour, which I'm particularly excited to watch. And then on Sunday, we have been filming, today in fact, a rider who's attempted to break the 100-mile world record. And actually, I'm still waiting for confirmation as to how it's gone. I don't know yet, so fingers crossed we've got a world record in the pack. Normally we jinx it, don't we? We turn up to a world record attempt and it goes wrong. So fingers crossed.
Right, that's just about everything from this week. I'm off to go and put some green arm warmers on now, I think, Si.
Are you? Good job it's getting dark, Connor, so then no one can see. Do remember to get involved in the comments section, of course. Is Primoz Roglic's new outfit hot or not? And perhaps more to the point, are you beginning to contemplate ultra endurance? Do you go long as opposed to going fast now? Let us know in the comments section. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up.